windy, so I'm going to do a voiceover on how to fix one missing shingle. All right, folks, so fixing a missing shingle isn't that difficult, but you have to be patient. So what we have going on is we have one shingle that has been blown off. It's actually broken off, and then it's been blown off too. So we have one good shingle we're going to put in that spot. So the first thing we need to do is we need to loosen up the nails, not only on that shingle that blew off, the nails that are still in there, but we have to loosen it up on the shingle above it and the one above that, because usually the shingles are big enough that you'll need to get the two shingles above it, get the nails out. So you absolutely have to have a flat bar. If you don't have a flat bar, it's going to be really difficult to get under there and to save the shingles and not bust the nails through them and break the shingles. And I always like to save the nails. That way I can put those back in if I need to. But I also like to patch these with longer nails. So I'll save those nails in case I want to put more nails in. But I'll also use longer nails than what I pulled out, so it's going deeper and it's holding tighter. So once you get all your nails out, which is probably the hardest part, it's the biggest part, you have to be really careful because you're breaking that tar strip, and you don't want to be real rough with it and rip the shingle that's glued down with the tar strip. So you have to be really gentle, and you also want to do this on a warm day. If it's too cold, those shingles will be so brittle and they'll just break. So you don't want to do it on a very cold day. You have to have it to where it's warm enough. And I always like it when it's warm enough to where that shingle is going to seal back down, but I don't depend on that. I'm going to use some caulking to make sure it all seals down. So you can get under there, you get the old shingle out, and then you're going to make sure all the nails are out. Hopefully you've been able to pull them out, but if the shingle rips at all, you'll want to make sure there's no existing nails hanging out in there to where when you put the new shingle down, it's going to pop a hole in the new good shingle. Okay, so now you have all the old shingle out, and you're able to get the new shingle where it needs to go. So the next thing you'll need to do is to take out your old stuff, and you'll need to slide that new shingle up where it goes and make sure you don't have to cut anything off. It was a whole shingle, and so it'll slide right into place, right where I need it to go. And so I don't have to do any sort of cutting on the end, which is nice. So it lays in there good. Now we're just going to go ahead and we're going to lift the shingles up, be really gentle. I like to use a small hammer. A hammer that is nice and small, has a smaller head to where I can get in there, nail the longer nails, and not hit the shingle above it and break that shingle. So I have my smaller hammer. I think this is a 12 ounce, I believe. And then I have 1.5 nails where I used 1.25 inches. Or if I used 1.5, then I'm going to use 1 5/8. I want to use a longer nail. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure the shingle that's below it is nailed down good. I'm going to go ahead and nail that off well. And then I want to go ahead and slide the new shingle in there, get it into place, and then I want to carefully lift up the shingles that are above it and make sure I replace a nail in every hole that I took out. And then also, if it feels a little loose, if it feels like it needs to be secured more, I'm going to go ahead and put more nails in. Then I want to make sure I use silicone or some sort of caulking to glue it all down, and not just trust that tar strip, because I want this to be, obviously it's in a place where there's high wind, so I want to go ahead and make sure that I can trust that that's not going to blow off again, or any of the shingles that I loosened so I could get the nails back in, I have those all secured down too. So I use quite a bit of caulking on this. I like GeoCell. This one is not my favorite, but it's what I had on hand, and so I didn't need to go buy something new when I had this on hand already. It'll do just fine. It's a good sealant. It's a silicone. It's not GeoCell, which I usually like to use, but this will work just fine for securing those shingles down and allowing it to stay down, and then allowing the tar strip to do its job also. So as you can see, just gingerly lifting those shingles up and then putting enough nails in it to where it's going to hold down. And then all you do then is you put any caulking where you need it. I like to put some caulking on the shingles that I lifted up so it can seal back down, and then you are good to go. Just make sure you don't walk on it and scuff all the shingles. I like to wear shoes that have a large surface area, and that way they will stick to the roof better. Obviously this isn't a very steep roof, but still it's nice to have a large surface area on your shoes when walking on the roof. And be very careful when you're on a roof. Careful not to fall off. All right, folks, that's all I got for you. I'll let you finish watching this out, and make sure to work hard, because hard work is its own reward. Thanks for watching.